Okay, solving quadratics by graphing. So we're going to do, I think, 3 examples. Our first example is right here. We have a quadratic equation, and notice it's set equal to 0. That's important. So if we want to solve this quadratic by graphing, we're going to plug this into our calculator. So what's going to go into our calculator is y equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. We need to make sure that our equation is in standard form. Okay, so here is the equation, plugged it into y equals. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to graph it, and we're going to draw a sketch. Now I'm doing this video modeling the test. Okay, so we would go ahead and draw a parabola. So I made a sketch with a graph, and then finally we want to state the solutions. So to find the solutions, we would go, first of all, we would go to our table and see if they're in there. And there it is. So we're looking for the solution. Remember, a solution is x, and we're looking for the 0. So we're looking for the x value that's across from the 0. Because remember, this number here represents y. So we're looking for the x coordinate that makes this equation equal to 0. And that would be -1. So the solution here would be x equals -1. And this is a 1 solution. And it's rational. Okay, example number 2. So first thing we want to do is set this equation equal to 0. So we would add 4 on both sides. 3x squared minus 6x plus 4 equals 0. So again, remember that the 0 represents the y coordinate. Okay, so in our calculator we would plug in y equals, that's the equation that would go in. Now to sketch a graph. So there is our equation. Pressing graph. Okay, notice that it does not cross the x-axis. So, first of all, let me draw a little sketch of this coming down, and it goes back up. So the solution type, the solution would be no real solution. Okay, which would mean that we would need to use the quadratic formula to calculate the imaginary / complex solution for this one. Okay, last example. First thing we need to do is set the equation equal to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and move everything over here to the left. So I'm going to cancel out my 6x. I'm going to cancel out my -3 by adding 3. So moving these over. Remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So we get -2x squared minus 6x plus 3. And that's going to be equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my y here because I'm going to plug this into my calculator. So here's my quadratic. plugged it in. Let's go ahead and look at our graph. So we would sketch this graph. Doesn't have to be perfect, that's why it says sketch. Although I would like my axis to be a little bit better than that. Alrighty, so we're going to go up and down. There's my sketch. Yeah, not too good, but it's a sketch. Alright, so I want my two solutions. So first I'm going to go ahead and look at my table, see if I can find any zeros here on the y. There's a 0 between these two numbers, so there must be a solution somewhere between these two. And there must be a 0 between these two numbers, so somewhere. So the next thing we want to do is we want to press second trace. We want to find that 0, so option number 2. Enter. Right? So it says left bound. So I'm going to go ahead and do the one over here first. So left, enter, then arrow to the right, enter, enter. One more time. So we have a solution at negative 3.43. Approximately. Okay, and let's do the other one. So again, second calc, 0. Okay, we want to go to the left of this one. Enter, enter, enter. And we have another solution at 0.436. I'm going to go ahead and round it. And looking at all these decimals, they're not repeating, they're not terminating. That's as far as the calculator will go. So I'm going to say that these are probably irrational solutions. So anyway, I hope this helps prepare you for your quiz on Wednesday. See you on Wednesday for your quiz.